Hello everybody. Okay, this is a video for pre-cal. It's about completing the square or finding the vertex form of a standard form quadratic. Let me put this up to the top here. So here we go. This is going to be a simple one. In other words, one without any fractions. Let's see. Plus, I don't know. 12. Let's do that. Okay. So the idea is we want to write this as x minus something squared and then some other stuff. Okay. So as a guide, we're going to use this thing. Okay. So x minus a squared is x minus a times x minus a. Okay. And if I do if I distribute the x, okay, x times x is x squared. X times negative a is minus ax. Negative a times x is minus ax again. And negative a times negative a, that's going to be plus a squared. And so here, minus ax, those are like terms. So that's actually going to combine to give minus 2ax. And then we still have the plus a squared. Okay. So this is our result. This is the thing we're going to use to help guide us. And what we want to do with this problem with f of x here is we want to write the three terms that we see here as something like this, with some other stuff before and after it. Sorry. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. So, notice here, first of all, notice that the coefficient of x squared in our guide right here is 1. Okay, so we want to make that happen with our problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to factor this 2 out. Whatever the number is here in front of x squared, we're going to factor that from every term. Okay, so I'm going to pull the 2 out. That's going to leave x squared minus 10x and then plus 6. Okay, so now inside the bracket we have a coefficient 1 in front of x squared. So then, next, notice that in our guide here, notice that the coefficient of x is 2a. Okay, coefficient of x here is 2a. Okay, so in our problem, 2a, if I match them up, coefficient of x, 2a is going to be negative 10. Okay, using this, we can find a, and a is important because we need it here. A is going to go inside the parenthesis. So if I divide both sides by 2 here, I'm going to wind up with a equals negative 5. Okay, so that's going to go in the parenthesis. And then a squared is important because we need it here. We need all three of these terms in order to write these three as x minus a squared. So a squared is going to be negative 5 squared, which is going to be positive 25. Okay. And now, once we have this is the number that we want to appear in the bracket. Okay. However, we don't have it there. So the only way that we can bring it there is if we add 0. Okay. So again, the only two things we can do is multiply by 1 and add 0. And here we're going to add 0. Okay. So I'm talking about 2 multiplied by x squared minus 10x plus 25 minus 25. There's the 0. And I still have the plus 6 hanging out. Okay. So there we go. So we have 2 multiplied by. And now we have these three terms. Okay. Now notice that these three terms match with our guide, which of course is off the screen. Here we go. A is -5. So here's 2a. 2 times -5 is -10, so it matches. And then if a is -5, -5 squared is 25, so a squared is here, 25 is here, so it matches. Therefore, we can conclude that these three terms is nothing more than x minus a squared. All right, so let me come back down here now. So again, the three terms on the line in purple is now x minus 5 squared. Okay, and I guess I'll change back to green now. Okay, and then we still have minus 25 plus 6. Okay, and we can go ahead and do that. -25 plus 6, that's just going to be minus 19. Okay, and there we go. There's our vertex form. And the point is that this form, it's easy to write down the vertex, okay? So the x value is going to be whatever makes the parentheses here that happens to be in this pinkish purplish color go to 0, okay? And then the y value, of course, is just the y value of the vertex. So in other words, to find my vertex, I'm just going to plug in 2 multiplied by, and we get 5 minus 5 squared minus 19. And of course, 5 minus 5 is 0. 0 squared is 0, so we just have minus 19 left in here. And 2 times minus 19 is -38. Okay, so my vertex is going to be at x equal positive 5, y equals -38. And that's going to be it for the vertex form. Now, another thing we can do if we're in vertex form is we can easily find solutions or x-intercepts. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm wanting to find my 0 or x-intercept. I'm going to find that by setting this thing equal to 0. Okay, so I'm going to take my my function and set it equal to 0. So I'm going to have 2 x minus 5 squared minus 19 equals 0. And now I'm trying to solve for x. I'm trying to solve for x, okay? So we're going to undo these operations. First, I want to divide both sides by 2. And so the 2's here go away because 2 over 2 is 1. 0 over 2 is just 0. So I'm left with x minus 5 squared minus 19 equals 0. I'm going to add 19 to both sides. So again, I'm trying to get x by itself. X minus 5 equals 19. Let me come down some more here. X minus 5 squared, sorry about that. X minus 5 squared is 19. Trying to get x by itself. So we need to unsquare or take a square root. Take a square root. Okay. And the thing to remember is that when you take a square root, you're going to have a plus or a minus. Okay, so x minus 5 equals plus or minus the square root of 19. And then the last thing to solve for x is I can add 5 to both sides. Okay, and so I wind up with x equals 5 plus or minus the square root of 19. And there's my solutions. Okay. So there we go, right? We started out with standard form. It was not obvious where the vertex was. It was also not obvious where the zeros were, where the solutions were, the x-intercepts. And using vertex form, we were able to easily find the vertex and the solutions. And so that's going to wrap it up for this video. Under 10 minutes, that's a win.